Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for imposition of cost on countries supporting terrorism. Asserts India will not rest till terrorism is uprooted. Home Minister Amit Shah says protecting a terrorist is equivalent to promoting terrorism. ISRO successfully launches first ever private rocket from Sriharikota. Government clarifies there is adequate availability of fertilizers in the country to meet the needs of the farmers during Rabi season. And India-New Zealand first T20 cricket match abandoned due to rains. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasized that the world needs to unite against all kinds of covert and overt backing of terrorism as certain countries support terrorism as part of their foreign policy. Mr. Modi said this while addressing the third No Money for Terror Ministerial Conference on counter-terrorism financing in New Delhi today. He stressed that there must be a cost imposed on countries that support terrorism.
It is well known that terrorist organizations get money through several sources. One source is state support. Certain countries support terrorism as part of their foreign policy. They offer political, ideological and financial support to them. International organizations must not think that the absence of war means peace. Proxy wars are also dangerous and violent. There must be a cost imposed upon countries that support terrorism. Organizations and individuals that try to create sympathy for terrorists must also be isolated.
Mr. Modi highlighted that all terrorist attacks deserve equal outrage and action. He added that even a single attack is one too many, and even a single life lost is one too many. He asserted that India will not rest till terrorism is uprooted.
This is a very important gathering. It should not be seen as a gathering of ministers only, because it deals with a subject that impacts entire humanity. The long-term impact of terrorism is particularly hard on the poor and on the local economy.
The Prime Minister called for a uniform, unified and zero-tolerance approach to defeat terrorism and said joint operations, intelligence coordination and extradition help the fight against terror. He said action against organized crime is extremely important in fight against terrorism. Mr. Modi said dynamics of terrorism is changing as rapidly as evolving technology present challenges as well as solutions.
Rapidly advancing technology is both a challenge and a solution. New kinds of technology are being used for terror financing and recruitment. Challenges from the darknet, private currencies, and more are emerging. There is a need for a uniform understanding for new finance technologies.
Addressing a session on the global trends in terrorist financing and terrorism at the conference, Home Minister Amit Shah said protecting a terrorist is equivalent to promoting terrorism. He said terrorists' safe havens or their resources should never be ignored, and the doublespeak of such elements who sponsor and support them must be exposed.
दुर्भाग्य से कुछ देश ऐसे भी हैं जो टेररिज्म से लड़ने के हमारे सामूहिक संकल्प को कमजोर करना या नष्ट करना चाहते हैं। हमने कई बार देखा है कि कुछ देश आतंकवादियों का बचाव करते हैं और उन्हें पनाह भी देते हैं। किसी आतंकवादी को संरक्षण देना आतंकवाद को बढ़ावा देने के बराबर है। ये हमारी सामूहिक जिम्मेदारी है कि ऐसे तत्व और ऐसे देश अपने इरादों में कभी सफल न हो सकें।
On the threats posed by the technology before the security architecture, Mr. Shah said forms and manifestations of terrorism are continuously evolving due to technological revolution. He said transformation of terrorism from dynamite to metaverse and AK-47 to virtual assets is a matter of concern for the countries of the world. He said India has taken series of measures to restrict the source of terror financing. The two-day conference will offer a unique platform for participating nations and organizations to deliberate on effectiveness of the international regime on counter-terrorism financing. Over 70 countries and 450 delegates are participating in the meet. India's first-ever private Vikram suborbital rocket was successfully launched by the ISRO at 11:30 today from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre, Sriharikota. The rocket reached an altitude of 81.5 kilometers with 3 payloads weighing a total of 83 kilograms. The rocket safely splashed in the waters of the Bay of Bengal at around 115 kilometers after the liftoff from Sriharikota. Prarambh, the mission of the rocket, has the payloads from Space Kids India, Bazoom Q Armenia and N Space Tech India and are equipped with sensors for the measurement of acceleration, pressure and others. Speaking after the launch, Union Minister of Space Dr. Jitendra Singh said that it was a new beginning for India's space program.
It is indeed a new beginning, very appropriately as our team members have put it, a new prarambh in the journey of India's space program. And very many thanks to Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, who has made this effort possible by opening up the space sector to public-private participation. A major step forward to India developing its own space ecosystem and emerging as a frontline nation in the community of world nations. And of course, a turning point in India's startup movement. Well done, Team Skyroot.
Our correspondent reports the onlookers viewing the launch in Sriharikota had little of the rocket to be seen on air since it is a one-stage suborbital rocket.
The mood in the viewing gallery, including Minister Jitendra Singh, was exuberant as the mission was accomplished. Students, scientists and business associates of the Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited expressed happiness at the success of the first private venture. The rocket requires minimal range infrastructure and can be assembled and launched within 24 hours from any launch site. Today's mission is the result of the MOU signed between the Skyroot agency and ISRO. Vikram series is named after Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of the Indian space industry. Joy, AN News reporting from Chennai.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has congratulated the ISRO and IN-Space for country's first ever private launch of Vikram suborbital rocket. Mr. Thakur said the country's first ever private rocket Vikram S, named after Vikram Sarabhai, launched from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh, is just a start for a self-reliant Indian private sector in the space field. The Indian Army is celebrating the 242nd Corps of Engineers Day today. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan and Chief of the Army Staff General Manoj Pandey have conveyed their best wishes to all ranks of the Corps of Engineers on the occasion. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अगर आप कर रहे हैं प्रतियोगी परीक्षाओं की तैयारी तो अभ्यास कार्यक्रम है सिर्फ आपके लिए, जिसे शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे आप सुन सकते हैं। इस बार का विषय है पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। कार्यक्रम के अंत में आपसे पूछा जाएगा एक सवाल, जिसे आप 9289094044 पर व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हैं। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back. The government today clarified that there is an adequate availability of fertilizers in the country to meet the needs of the farmers during the current Rabi season. It termed the media reports claiming shortage of fertilizers in Trichy in Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan as beyond the facts. The Chemicals and Fertilizers Ministry said the centre is providing urea, diammonium phosphate, also known as DAP, muriate of potash, NPKs and SSP fertilizers as per the need of all states. The ministry said it is the responsibility of respective state governments to ensure availability within the states. In a statement, the ministry said the all India requirement projected for urea during the current Rabi season is over 180 lakh metric tons. In Gujarat, scrutiny of nominations for the second phase of assembly elections is underway today. The last date for the withdrawal of the nominations is 21st of this month. Meanwhile, the poll campaigning for the first phase of the elections intensified from today. A total of 788 candidates are in the fray for this phase of elections. Ruling BJP has launched an intense poll campaigning in 82 assembly constituencies. Party President JP Nadda, senior leaders Nitin Gadkari and Anurag Thakur are campaigning in the state today. Opposition Congress and Aam Aadmi Party have been also reaching out to voters. Our correspondent reports that out of the 89 seats that will go for polls in the first phase, about 55 seats are in Saurashtra-Kutch region. Of these, all eyes are on the prestigious Rajkot West seat.
Rajkot West is considered as the VIP and the luckiest assembly constituency of the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi won his first election from this seat. Rajkot West has always given prominent leaders to Gujarat and the country. Former Governor Vajubhai Vaya has been an MLA from this seat 7 times. In the last assembly polls, former Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was elected from this constituency. A total of 13 candidates, including 8 independents, are in the fray on this seat in this assembly election. The BJP has given ticket to the Deputy Mayor of Rajkot, Dr. Darshita Shah, while Mansukh Kalaria from Congress and Dinesh Joshi from Aam Aadmi Party are also trying to woo the voters. There are about 3,14,000 voters in Rajkot West constituency. With Sanjeev Sharma from Rajkot, Aparna Khund, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Kashi Tamil Sangamam has started in Varanasi, and the first batch of the delegates from Tamil Nadu will reach the Varanasi station tonight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will formally inaugurate the Sangamam tomorrow. Delegates from 12 different categories will come to Kashi from Tamil Nadu during this one-month period and interact with their counterparts. Our correspondent reports that preparations for the grand welcome of the delegates are in full swing.
Union Minister of Education Dharmendra Pradhan today visited the house of the family members of famous Tamil poet Subramaniam Bharati. He met with K.V. Krishnan, who is 96-year-old nephew of Mahakavi Subramaniam Bhartiyar. One of the greatest Tamil literary figures of all time, Mahakavi Bhartiyar's home is on the banks of Ganga at Hanuman Ghat area, which is also called Mini Tamil Nadu of Varanasi because of the dense population of people from Tamil origin. Today evening, 9 Adhinams of Tamil Nadu will be received in Kashi Vishwanath Mandir premises. After darshan, there will be a program to felicitate Adhinams by Kashi Vidvat Parishad, Sampurnanand Sanskrit University and Veda scholars of Kashi. Following that, Adhinams will see the Ganga Aarti. The Adhinams will arrive from Chennai. Union Minister will meet them at the temple and take part in the program. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Varanasi.
As the COP27 has reached its last day, the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged the parties to rise to the urgency of the moment and agree on real solutions to solve the greatest challenge facing humanity. Mr. Guterres said in his speech that it is not a time for finger-pointing, but time to make a difference, to stand and deliver. The UN chief urged the countries to deliver the kind of meaningful action that people and the planet so desperately need. North Korea has launched an intercontinental ballistic missile early this morning. South Korean officials said that the latest missile was fired from near the North Korean capital Pyongyang. It reached an altitude of 6,100 kilometers on a lofty trajectory and traveled 1,000 kilometers. Meanwhile, Japan's Coast Guard said the missile landed in the sea roughly 210 kilometers west of Hokkaido. The first T20 match of 3-match series between India and New Zealand is abandoned without a ball being bowled due to rains. The toss had also not taken place. The match was supposed to start at 12 noon Indian Standard Time today at Sky Stadium in Wellington. The second T20 will be played at Bay Oval, Mount Maunganui on November 20th and third T20 at Maclean Park, Napier on the 22nd of November. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for imposition of cost on countries supporting terrorism, asserts India will not rest till terrorism is uprooted. Home Minister Amit Shah says protecting a terrorist is equivalent to promoting terrorism. ISRO successfully launches first ever private rocket from Sriharikota. Government clarifies there is adequate availability of fertilizers in the country to meet the needs of the farmers during Rabi season. And India-New Zealand first T20 cricket match abandoned due to rains. And with that, we end the Midday News.